Hello all and welcome to the strategy proposal for Corning Incorporated. The contributing partners to this proposal are going to be Shailena Wiegraf, Jonathan Gamer, and Akasha Leffler. We'll begin with a brief introduction to the company. Corning Incorporated is a highly diversified industry leader with over 45,000 employees worldwide and invests heavily in research, development, and engineering, often emerging as a market pioneer in materials science. Corning's focus on innovation reaches to various markets, and their cost leadership and differentiation strategies allow the company to be extremely competitive. The high volume of products in these industries require competitive firms to offer product variety while achieving and maintaining economies of scale, both of which are familiar to Corning. Another edge to Corning's success is through commitment to quality, which is clearly portrayed in the Corning brand image, making it extremely difficult to imitate by competitors. In this situation analysis, we'll identify the key aspects of business that serve as a lifeblood for Corning, examine the woes that Corning faces, and propose a strategy to boost Corning into a much more prosperous future. But before looking to where we're going next, we have to first understand what got us there in the first place. Originally known as Brooklyn Flint Glass Works, Corning Incorporated was founded in 1851. The company was most notable for the development of handmade glass bulbs to complement Thomas Edison's incandescent lamp. By 1908, the bulb design was selling so well that it accounted for over half of Corning's business. That same year, Corning established one of the first industrial research departments in the United States. As time went on, Corning experienced many major breakthroughs in the glass research development and beyond, and would spur the lighting, television, and optical communications sectors. By the dawn of the 21st century, Corning was experiencing major success and investing heavily in fiber optics and telecommunications technology. Today, Corning has a part and plays a big role in 5 diverse different categories, those being display technologies such as LCD screens and TV monitors, to optical communications such as fiber optics, environmental technologies, specialty materials and ceramics known as catalytic converters, and their life sciences, building medical equipment for modern-day hospitals. Along with their wide array of product development, Corning also has a pretty unique feature about them, and that's that they've established what's known as the Growth and Strategy Council, also known as the GSG, which is a centralized team that includes the Chief Officer of Operations, the Chief Technical Officer, and of course the CEO, Wendell Weeks. Some people at Corning were worried that the centralized system would limit innovation and the decisions that could be made, although it was proven to be helpful to the company. They were also worried that as it grew, sustaining such as a frank dialogue about certain product aspects would be harder to maintain, but overall, the council has continued to propel Corning forward. A small example of GSG's success is their ability to lead the industry in intellectual property rights. In 2014, Corning was the industry leader with over 346 patents granted of their tens of thousands of glass product. Let's now turn to the external environment that Corning faces. Their stock price was at a high of $105 in the late 1990s. Its market value was $50 billion by the year 2000. The company was investing heavily in fiber optics and telecommunications. Unfortunately, when the dot-com bubble burst in the early 2000s, these industries collapsed in value, and Corning sank along with it. In 2002, the revenues dropped from $6.3 billion the previous year to now $3.1 billion, and they were forced to lay off over 12,000 employees. They have been slowly bouncing back. Consumers want products that are faster, slimmer, and less expensive. For Corning, this means staying ahead of the tech curve and making R&D even more important. Now, when everyone is forced to spend money, time, and resources on following the regulations set forth today, it levels the playing field for everyone. Environmental sensitivity can also be a huge asset to a company like Corning, as consumers are increasingly favoring companies that follow the triple bottom line and care about the environment. Now, when applying Porter's 5-factor analysis to Corning, it is easiest to observe each of their different industry segments separately, since Corning is so diversified. Bargaining powers of buyers determines the power of the consumers of Corning's product. For the display technologies market, buyers' power is high, because of its competitive field with many manufacturers and there's a lot of substitute products, so buyers have a lot of options. In the optical communications sector, it's a medium level, however, because while fiber optics is still quite specialized, there are an increasing number of options out there for buyers to choose from. Same goes for environmental technologies. Specialty materials on the other end, along with life sciences, are on the low end, because these products are highly specialized, differentiated, and there are not that many substitutes available in the market today. Moving on to the flip side is the bargaining power of suppliers. In our context here, the supplier is going to be Corning. For display technologies, the supplier power is low, because there are a huge number of suppliers, and switching costs for buyers are generally low as well. For optical communications and environmental technologies, Corning's power is more medium, because while they do have a good foothold in these industries, there are newer companies that are getting involved now, and this will increase the number of suppliers in the future. Now, because of their high specialization and the amount of investment they take, the specialty materials and life sciences industries are high power positions for Corning. There are many substitutes available, but to buyers, Corning has a lot of control. Given their special materials such as catalytic converters, every vehicle now has one, and it's become an industry standard which others cannot replicate. Porter's third factor is the threat of new entrants. The more companies involved in an industry, the more competitive it is, and the less profitable it can become for companies like Corning. The threat of new entrants is high for the display technologies industry, because brand loyalty is low. The current brand names, Corning included, are not well known, at least not to the public investor eye, and there aren't really any government regulations regarding it, so barriers to entry are rather low. The optical communications and environmental technology sectors have more regulation, higher initial capital investment, and a fair amount of proprietary technologies required, so they are at a medium. But because of the high initial upfront investments in R&D and government regulations, the specialty materials and life sciences sectors have a relatively low threat of new entrants. Over the course of its existence, Corning has spent hundreds of years of research and development, so any new entrants would have a lot of hurdles to cross to catch up to Corning, and to capitalize like they have. Now on to Porter's fourth factor, which is the threat from substitute products. For display technologies, there are numerous other companies besides Corning who offer huge arrays of products and substitutes, making this threat rather high. As optical communications and environmental technologies are fast-growing fields that are starting to get more established, their threats are medium. More and more similar products and substitutes are being introduced as time goes on. Obviously, however, due to their specialty nature, specialty materials and life sciences generally offer fewer substitutes. The fifth and final factor is inter-firm rivalry. Because of the high number of firms in the industry, coupled with the fact that there isn't necessarily one clear market leader or any high brand loyalty for display technologies, inter-firm rivalry is high, due to a smaller but still growing number of firms in the optical communications and environmental technology industries. Along with slightly more differentiated products and higher consumer switching costs, the threat of inter-firm rivalry is medium. As Corning is a market leader in specialty products, and the fact that there are very high consumer switching costs and a small number of firms in that industry, the inter-firm rivalry for life sciences and specialty materials is going to be relatively low. Next, we'll look into a more internal analysis. What's Corning's strategy? Namely, their long-standing history and culture of differentiation. Corning has an uncanny ability to become first movers in hugely diverse market segments, some of which weren't even known as product segments until Corning's involvement. This is due to the rigorous process of research and development, which we've already spoken a lot about, but why is it so important to Corning? Especially when you learn that they aim over 40% of their revenue towards R&D. It circles back to that family-run passion for the unknown, which products, as big as they are simply a byproduct of that well-placed ambition. But they also stake a large claim to the cross-divisional partnerships. Those who are fortunate enough to pursue a career with Corning will benefit from being moved through all departments early and often. What this does is foster very organic ideas that make aligning to the company's mission that much easier, with minimal pushback from all the department heads. And in the same way that employees can expect to transfer from one division to the next, Corning's resources for new products follow suit and works in a similar fashion. With 107 operating locations in 24 countries worldwide, this becomes pretty impressive, especially when you consider the $28 billion in current assets Corning manages on a daily basis. And once again, with great leadership and communication of company goals and strategies, they make running a glass empire virtually shatterproof. Next, no Goliath is without their Davids, and being involved in as many industries as Corning is, it comes with a laundry list of competitors to keep watch on. Looking at their closest rivals, TE Connectivity and Amphenol, who make similar material products, you might notice that they make almost double the net profit that Corning does. But how is that possible? It goes back to that golden R&D, and truth be told, those companies wouldn't have those production means without Corning inventing them in the first place. But that's not to detract from the fact that there is a lot of emerging and already well-established competition coming out of Japan and the rest of Eastern Asia, who incidentally are some of the largest consumers of new and advanced electronics by volume when compared to anywhere else in the world. So what will Corning need to do now to give the world its next big breakthrough? So, as in the intent of this presentation, there are 3 recommendations for Corning to selectively approach as their next proverbial light bulb. The first includes a possible joint venture with Apple. A joint venture between Apple and Corning could produce the next breakthrough in glass materials science. further establishing them both as leading innovators in the technology industry. Corning would experience a more guaranteed application of materials this time around, thus expanding their specialty materials segment to account to more than 9% of their total revenue. Apple utilizes glass displays for each one of their display products and has already shown an interest in entering the glass display industry themselves. By following through with this joint venture, Corning would have exclusive access to Apple's loyal customer base, and it's a big one, and further establish their brand name with the idea of a must-have quality. Recommendation 2 would be a new focus on the emerging electric car industry. Glass is sleek, clean, and fresh-looking, adding the perfect touch to any brand new electric car on the market. People are accustomed to using their touchscreens on a daily basis, so why should the car console, windshields, and peripherals be any different? Like those futuristic movies in Hollywood, someone would be able to adjust everything by touchscreen window or panel in the car. By expanding into this new industry, Corning will be able to secure a new large customer base while expanding upon the products that they already develop, further putting them in a technological lead. They could also make headway into the automotive electric battery industry by producing a high-flow electrical conduit to keep temperatures down. As they pave the way with ceramic substrate filters and catalytic converters, which the EPA mandated in all automotive manufacturing from that point forward, Corning has another opportunity on the horizon to make a soon-to-be mass-produced electric propulsion system more safe and reliable, by which the standard will once again be measured, as the need for their original automotive breakthrough may ultimately be no longer required. Getting ahead of it now may save one of their largest product segments. From there, the possibilities are endless. Moving on to our third and final recommendation, finding an additional market for the latest iteration for Gorilla Glass to make an appearance into the aerospace industry. Similar to the recent point with sensitive touchscreen displays in cars, commercial planes could be equipped to handle this technology as well. In addition, due to the durability and flexibility of Gorilla Glass, the aerospace industry could use this technology to increase the strength of the plane casings while decreasing the weight. What a breakthrough it would be for pilots and passengers alike to develop the appearance of an all-glass, open-top plane, complete with their latest 5G optical fiber. Corning's specialty markets already include aerospace development, so it would be a small leap to expand their portfolio in this way. So, here's our recommendation. We believe Corning should embark on a joint venture with Apple in order to further expand upon the Gorilla Glass segment in the smartphones and wearable devices industry. This joint venture will add an element of corporate development for Corning, at the same time as further diversifying business. Not only will this greatly benefit Corning from a portfolio perspective, but it will also give them access to new customers. By collaborating in a joint venture with Apple, Corning will reap the benefits that Apple experiences due to their status as a leading innovator in the technology industry. Some of these benefits will include gaining a high level of public interest, awareness, and buyer loyalty, all aspects which greatly assist in Apple's success. Entering into this joint venture could also help prevent history from repeating itself. Since 2007, Corning has been supplying Apple with their high-tech Gorilla Glass for all iPhone products. In 2014, however, Apple intended to switch from Corning's Gorilla Glass to Sapphire Glass, created by GT Advanced Technologies. They had big plans to invest over $1 billion to establish a factory which would produce 30 times as much sapphire as any other plant in the world. When news surfaced that GT Advanced Technologies has faced extreme financial hardship and filed for bankruptcy, Apple luckily returned to Corning. Apple and Corning both bring an incredible level of innovation and expertise to the table in their own industries. By teaming up to create a replacement for the Gorilla Glass, they will be able to produce a product far superior to the nearest competitor's product. However, there's already a competitor for this idea now. Dragontail by Asahi Glass Company is the next best product for Corning's existing Gorilla Glass technology, proving that Corning's products are already difficult to imitate. And by adding another technological innovative powerhouse to the mix, it will take years for a similar product to be presented in the market by a competitor. Now, once their new glass product emerges on the next iPhone in the market, no consumer will wish to purchase a smartphone on any other device with a fragile glass display that doesn't come from the Apple-Corning joint venture. So how does this Corning go about implementation stages? Corning has already various laboratories set up for glass product development, so utilizing an existing business and building would be sufficient. Corning also has a wealth of intellectual resources and material science engineers at the ready that they could greatly benefit from this venture. Corning and Apple already invest heavily in R&D practices to be at the cutting edge of various technology industries, so the cost would not exceed what they already spend on an annual basis either. The new material will come from Corning's Project Fire, an enhanced version of the Gorilla Glass product, which boasts a 70% increase in damage resistance, better touch sensitivity, and superior optical clarity. Corning also made headway into an antimicrobial glass substrate, which could greatly benefit the wearable device industry. The joint venture would create a fire and antimicrobial hybrid, a product not only made to wow consumers with high resolution, impeccable quality, and extreme durability, but keep them healthy as well.